Today we are going to be discussing risk and resilience in early childhood. Our agenda for the day includes discussing the ecological model and looking at the intervention and prevention framework. We will also define risk and resilience and look at protective factors. Many of you are already familiar with Bronfenbrenner's ecological model. The ecological model helps us think about a child within multiple and interrelated contexts. Those of you who are working at Head Start are already using this model. The first context is the individual characteristics of a child. Let's use a fictional child, Joey, as our example. Follow along by finding the different systems on the graphic as I describe them. Okay, so Joey has a happy and easygoing temperament, good communication skills, and he's very physically active. That's the individual characteristics he has. Next is the microsystem, all the people a child comes into direct contact with. Joey's parents have recently separated and the father has left the state. This has affected Joey's usually happy temperament, and he is not using his words when getting upset, but he has started to hit his friends. Next comes the mesosystem. This is the interconnections between the microsystems. As you can see from the slide, there are many microsystems that may interconnect in a child's life. Joey and his family are very connected to the tribe they belong to, and this connection brings them into contact with many positive role models for Joey. This is a protective factor that his teacher knows about and has set up a meeting with a male tribal leader, the mother, and herself. The next level is the exosystem. These are the larger level institutions or policies that have an indirect effect on the child. Joey's school has undergone some staff cuts due to budget problems, and his family advocate will not be able to do a home visit for the next few months. This will place more responsibility on the teacher to track Joey's progress and keep in communication with his family. The macro system refers to the cultural values and customs, social conditions, and national customs that affect children and families. Joey's Native American heritage can be both a protective and risk factor. Many Native Americans experience prejudice and stereotypes that can affect overall feelings of self-efficacy. At the same time, Joey belongs to a strong tribe that works hard to instill a sense of community and pride in their members. Using what we know about the ecological model, let's take a look at the intervention and prevention framework. We know that children operate within the context of their environment, and that children in their environments are always changing and interacting. Children are active participants in their own development, and that one ecological system influences the changes in other systems as well. Before we move on to interventions, though, we need to determine what the term at risk really means. What it means or refers to are the factors that are known to cause negative outcomes for children. It also means that we're not necessarily talking about what the current situation is, but that negative consequences could happen if no intervention takes place. Here's an example of risk and what could happen if intervention did not occur. From research, we know when a child is witness to or exposed to domestic violence, the child may have resulting social emotional problems. We also know that children who have more social emotional problems often have a hard time developing strong peer relationships. And research has shown that children with poor peer relationships often have poor school outcomes that can lead to an increased chance of dropping out of school later. Can you think of some groups that are especially vulnerable or underserved? Please exit the lecture now and answer the question.